Today, shipping companies must operate within very complex environmental legislation. Increasingly, many recognize they need environmental expertise on board their vessels. This course provides the information necessary for the candidates to become the ship's environmental officer. It provides a comprehensive and understandable guide to current international law and offers practical steps in maintaining and improving day-to-day environmental performance. Upon completion, the candidate will be able to advise on best practice and assist the master and other members of the crew on environmental issues. The course will help the candidate to understand the environmental issues facing shipping companies. It will explain the laws that all qualifying vessels are subject to. Finally, it will prepare the candidate to proactively undertake the role of environmental officer. As a result of undertaking the course, the candidate will be aware of the environmental problems facing the world and understand how global warming and climate change threatens our very survival. Be familiar with how shipping contributes to world pollution, how that can be minimized, and the role individual seafarers can play in creating a cleaner planet. Be familiar with the legal framework for protecting the environment agreed by the International Maritime Organization, IMO, MARPOL, and other conventions and the controls applied to the merchant marine. Understand the consequences of not complying and the real risk of heavy fines and imprisonment. The course is broken down into a number of self-contained modules. In Module 1, Why Create the Position of Environmental Officer, the scene is set, and the role of the environmental officer is explained in overview. Module 2, Understanding Environmental Management, considers the broad issues surrounding threats to the environment and considers how they may be managed. Module 3, Important Environmental Concepts, explains some of the terms used in environmental management. It considers how pollution moves into the environment and provides an understanding of the impact pollutants make on our planet. Module 4 concentrates on international controls through MARPOL and, split into 6 parts, considers the convention and protocol and its annexes in detail. In Module 5, Understanding the Legal Requirements, the practical implications of MARPOL and what it requires of the crew and vessel are covered. Module 6, Company Policy, looks at the company's environmental policy and considers what needs to be done, and case studies that illustrate the cost of non-compliance. Practical implementation of the environmental policy, Module 7, takes a practical look at how the environmental policy is implemented and adapted to work with your vessel in the environmental management plan, along with simple methods to break down complex processes into manageable tasks. In Module 8, Setting Up Environmental Systems on Board, looks at who is responsible for what and how this translates into a manageable system. It also attempts to bring home the message that even small changes to behavior and practice can bring about significant change. Tackling the job of environmental officer, Module 9, considers the role of the environmental officer and explores how best to tackle the job. It acknowledges the increased pressures and responsibility of the seafarer and offers advice on how to maximize time and resources, including implementing best working practice, environmental risk assessments, drills, ensuring environmental standards are maintained, and how to motivate others to improve their performance. The final module, Module 10, Handling Incidents, looks at how to tackle incidents when problems arise. The role of Environmental Officer is considered in conjunction with other designated roles the seafarer may have. The course also contains a resource library, complete with appendices full of detailed additional information such as how to complete the oil record book, a glossary of useful terms, and a checklist that summarizes the knowledge and skills required of the Environmental Officer. Assessment of the Environmental Officer training course comes in the form of modular tests, comprising of multiple choice, drag and drop, and true and false questions. These are then complemented by a final test comprising of a random sample of questions from all modules. Passing this test in the presence of a supervisor and submitting the results to Videotel can obtain a course completion certificate. A further certificate of merit can be achieved by successful completion and submission of the assignments. These are included within the CD-ROM. The Environmental Officer training course will prepare the candidate to proactively undertake the role of Environmental Officer and understand that improving day-to-day environmental performance can bring about significant change.